welcome back inside Lynn Farrell Arena on the campus of Hastings College for Strive's coverage of the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic. I'm Eric Olga, John Willis joining me, our crew of Nathan Ladderhoff, Tripp, and Mason here today as well. Bringing you all of the action throughout the day. Tony Chapman will join us, a real treat later on, John. Tony Chapman, Twitter famous, will be joining us later on tonight. But we've got a fun matchup this afternoon. Shelton and GICC. We always mention when we get to the Heartland Hoops Classic, matchups you wouldn't normally see. Here we got one. We're going to check in with the indomitable Bobby Mills for this afternoon's starting lineups.
Game 4, the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic, featuring the Crusaders of Grand Island Central Catholic and the Shelton Bulldogs. And now let's meet the starters for the Crusaders. Number 2, a 5'11" senior, Ishmael Nadir. Number 4, a 6'1" sophomore, Thomas Laban. Number 30, a 6'1" freshman, Thomas Birch. Number 32, a 6'3" senior, Jacob Steckman. And number 42, a 6'8" senior, Bodie Fox. Crusaders are coached by Peter Martinez, assisted by Bill Gabriel, Rob Musick, Kerry Fredrickson, Brady Brokaw, and Howard Schumann. And now your starters for the Shelton Bulldogs. Number 10, a 6' sophomore, Ben Myers. Number 12, a 6'1" junior, Riley Baumbeck. Number 23, a 6'2" junior, Ashton Simmons. Number 24, 6' senior, Quinn Cheney. And number 31, a 5'10" senior, Luke Gilman. Shelton is coached by Will Witzel, assisted by Hunter Hyatt and Kent Brokers. Your officials for today's contest, Jim Lane, Tim O'Day, and Rod Hartman.
I mean, we've got Bobby and we've got Jim Lang. I mean, let's go here, folks. GICC in the powder blue and Shelton in the white and dark blue. We are ready to go in period number 1. Thank you, Hoosier. Maybe. Uh-oh. And we're going to re-jump that. Bodie Fox and Riley Baumbeck in the center circle. Riley up quick. And it's the Bulldogs with the ball first. Shelton 3-1 on their season. Loss in the opening game to Elm Creek, but 3 wins since then. Missed one of their contests due to some ice here a couple weeks ago. That's a nice drive, and we're going to say these couple of names for the Bulldogs quite a few times. Ashton Simmons, Riley Baumbeck. Simmons and Baumbeck, they average, John, a combined over 40 points between the two of them. They are going to make everything go for the Bulldogs. And on the other side, GICC trying to find their footing on this season. A lot of new faces for Coach Tino Martinez. 1-4 this year. Did beat Lincoln Christian last night for their first win, 48-38.
And sometimes it just takes one to get things going for a team, you know, especially a team like GICC with maybe some young talent this year.
A drive there from Baumbeck. Can't make the shot, though, and off we run with Ishmael Nadir, who is fouled on the way up on his driving layup. He will shoot a couple of free throws. Ishmael, a 5'11" senior, averaging 18.5 points a game. He's the one making things go for the offense for GICC when it goes. Thomas Laban averaging 5.5 points. Stegman averaging 4. And Bodie Fox also in the starting lineup averaging 6.5 points. Thomas Birch is a 6'1" freshman. That will be a fun one to watch as he grows over his years at GICC.
And I think that'll be the big key for success sustained for GICC this year is finding a second guy. Because you mentioned it, the next leading scorer is just averaging about 6 points per game. So they got to find that second guy that can make a difference for the Crusaders this year. Yeah,
Nadir 18.5, but the team only 36 for the game. So after points coming from one guy, probably going to be a tough road to hoe, especially the way GICC schedules. Man, they're not afraid to play up into Class C1, Class B. At times, and so they're gonna have some opportunities to see just exactly what they got on those rosters. Shelton with the basketball, tied up at 2, minute 10 gone by here in this opening period. Pass to the baseline is last touched by the Bulldogs on the way out. Ben Myers was down there. We mentioned that it's kind of lopsided, the scoring as far as GICC is concerned. For Shelton, though, we mentioned Rombeck and Simmons averaging over 40 combined, but they've got a couple other pieces like Quinn Cheney and Ben Myers that average 15 combined between the two of them. So a little extra depth in there as we see Bodie Fox, who's going to have a big game, I think, in this one. If GICC wants to pull up with the victory, Bodie's a big presence, got a couple of inches on anybody else in a Bulldog uniform. So his inside presence is going to be pretty important in this one. Nadir dribbles it all the way into the corner on a 4-2 lead for the Crusaders. And there is, again, Bodie Fox, all 6'8" of him. And he's got 4 in the early going here, and it's 6-2 Central Catholic.
You mentioned we haven't seen really a dominant big man, I feel like, in these first couple games, but I feel like you mentioned Bodie Fox is going to have to big game, 4 early points for him. I think he's going to have sustained success again with his 6'8". Heidi's got a long wingspan as well. He's going to be a big key.
There's not too many guys anymore. It's just kind of the way the sport of basketball has evolved. There's not too many guys that are, you could say, yes, you are a true post player. Bodie Fox is one of those guys. And we're going to get a reshoot of that first free throw there from Simmons as Nadir was not in position and stepped into the lane as Simmons took the first one. So he's going to get the first one over. I missed that one too. All right. Well, no worse for the wear. We're going to shoot one more now.
You got to think maybe nerves playing a bit of a fact in some of these. These are some big venues for some of these smaller schools, and so sometimes both teams coming out a little cold.
How about 0 for 3 in the free throws, but there for the putback is Ben Myers, a 6-foot sophomore, and he gets the foul to boot.
It's a nice job by Ben Myers, just following his shot, or following the missed shot, and obviously a little struggle from the free throw line, but heck, trade 1 for 2.
Stegman picks up both fouls, actually, and the three-point play converted for Myers. So Stegman going to come out, and Colton Mellring, 6'2" sophomore, checks in for Coach Tino Martinez. Coach Martinez, of course, the organizer of this event, and it's been fun to see this thing grow. The holiday offshoot of the big event in February, which is going to be a monster event this year. 4 national teams coming in. We'll see Bellevue West. We'll see Omaha West Side. So 2 top 5 teams in Class A. Be a lot of fun that second weekend of February. I hope you can join us on February 10th and 11th. And the officials, Jim Langen says, no, GICC basketball, not Shelton basketball. So we'll go the other way.
Yeah, and you saw that Riley Bombeck kind of threw up his hands saying, I'm not sure that one was out on me, but instead it'll be GICC ball.
You do not argue with the men in the striped shirts in this game. They will let you know about it. Nadir has a pass block, gets it back, attacks, can't get the finish, but a putback is up and good. A nice job by Colton Mellring.
Doing a nice job off the bench, coming in, making an impact. It's a nice offensive rebound and making an impact early for GICC. Nice job by Quinn Cheney too, on the little jumper for Shelton.
So it's 8-7, GICC on top as we approach the halfway point of the first half. First quarter, I should say. Thank you. Fox top of the key. Nadir throw it back in the corner for Birch. Nadir rolls over the top, can't get it, and Bombeck with the rebound.
It was a good look for Nadir, just a little short off the front of the iron, but they're moving the ball well. That was one of their longer, more set-up offensive set pieces we've seen so far today.
Good defense. Able to dig it out of there was Laban, and now Nadir has it. Kicks it back. Birch for 3. The defensive rebound for Simmons. Ashton brings it up and draws the blocking foul on Nadir.
2 straight possessions, though, for Shelton where they're trying to attack the three-point arc, and So far in the season, when they've had good offensive games, they've been made by if those threes will fall or not.
So the first on Nadir, the third on GICC here in this first period. Coach Will Russell calls out the new set. Man-to-man defense for the Crusaders. Over the top of the screen goes Cheney. Long two, no good. Offensive rebound, Myers. That one blocked by Fox, and then a foul coming in on Bombeck.
We mentioned how Bodie Fox would have to have a big afternoon for Central or for GICC if they were to have a productive day. And 4 points early on makes his presence felt with a nice block. He's off to a good start. Like we mentioned, using that big 6'8" frame, he's going to have to continue to have a productive afternoon.
Birch throws it in the corner for Laban. Dribbles all the way up and around to the opposite corner. Up top, picked off though. Ashton Simmons has a 1-on-2, gonna attack the rim. And oh my, Nadir about jumped out of the gym, but does get called for the foul. Goodness, he was off the floor.
Well, that was good defense. Unfortunately, it doesn't go their way, but good job getting back on a turnover and a transition. As Simmons, he felt like he would have had a pretty good look at it, but a nice job defensively. Now you got to make him earn it with the free throws, and he knocks down his first.
That's also the second foul on Nadir, so he goes to the bench. 2 fouls on both Nadir and Stegman, so 2 starters on the bench right now with a little foul trouble here. 3 minutes still to go in the first quarter. Simmons' second free throw up and good, and it's the first lead of the game for Shelton. A full timeout is going to be taken on the floor, and we will take it as well. 3:11 to go, first period. It's Shelton by 1, the Holiday Hoops Classic.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
This Strive Sports production is brought to you by Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning, Rivals Sports Bar and Grill, and by Pinnacle Bank. We couldn't do it without your support.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon on Strive's coverage of the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic. We will be back with you in February for the main event. A 2-day event it has grown into, February 10th and 11th. That's a Friday night and all day on Saturday. 2 games Friday night at Grand Island Central Catholic. You can see them right here on Strive.tv. In fact, it'll be the same URL you're watching right now. So if you haven't yet, you should bookmark this one and come back in February when we have the big classic going on. Same sign in, but you have to pay again for those games in February. Shot in the corner, that one was put up by Brooks Hubble, a 5'10 sophomore. The rebound out of bounds off the Crusaders and back to the Shelton Bulldogs, who have a 1-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the opening period. And a foul over the top, Thomas Birch, the freshman, making a freshman kind of mistake, right? You were posted up, that's okay. Let that catch happen and then back off and play some defense. Instead, he's got a foul, and now he will check out. And we see a Mellring back in. 3 different Crusaders on the floor for that one, and it's picked up instead by Bombeck. Pass it off to Myers. Tipped around, and finally it's Graham Stava, who's another one of the freshmen out there for GICC.
So far in this game, the ball seems to be loose a lot. Both teams, kind of being a little loose with it here early on. The ball's been up in the air, being tipped around a lot. It seems like there's some possessions where can't tell who has the ball and who doesn't for a good couple seconds.
Working against a zone, 1-3-1 zone for Shelton. They get the deflection and the steal. Deflected by Simmons, and Myers there to pick it up on the loose ball. Rombeck has it. Now on the near wing for Cheney. Into the corner for Will Rowe. Minute 50 to go. First quarter. Simmons down the lane, swatted away by Bodie Fox. It'll stay with the Bulldogs.
One thing to note, too, 5 fouls already for GICC. It's not going to be good when you get into the second quarter, maybe 6-5 minutes, and they're going to have free throws.
Shot rolls off the front there for Rowe. The defensive rebound for Mellring. Here comes the Crusaders. This is Laban bringing it up. Again, with 2 different starters on the bench with foul trouble and a third starter on the bench. We mentioned it when we started this game, John, that it's not a ton of depth scoring-wise, especially for GICC. So where does that offense come from?
And especially if they get into foul trouble, that's just going to be asking for disaster for GICC.
Nice drive, but it's Riley Bombeck, the 6'1 junior, who knocks it in there. Bombeck with his first basket of the game. 1 minute to go here in the opening period. Rowe pushed all the way out near half court. Gets it for Laban, now into the corner for Hubble. Skip pass. A good look, a turn into the lane, and the shot executed for Mellring.
Been really impressed with him so far, standing at 6'2". 4 points for him off the bench. He's been making an impact for GICC here early in this one.
Onto the baseline, the offensive rebound for Bombeck won't go, though, on the second chance, and Hubble pulls down the rebound. 20 seconds to go in the opening period. Laban has it. 1-3-1 zone again for Shelton. Laban splits the top. Throws it for Fox for 3, and Bodie knocks it down. And then Laban steals the inbounds pass, lays it up, and that is 5 points for GICC in the last few seconds of the first quarter. Flurry of activity right there at the end, and a good job finishing for the Crusaders. They'll take a 4-point lead to the second quarter for the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic right after this on Strive.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus, 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
Back here in Hastings for the Holiday Hoops Classic. Eric Olga, John Willis, and the Strive crew joining you today. GICC gets 5 points, a 3 from Bodie Fox, and then a steal and layup from Thomas Laban in the final 5 seconds of that first quarter to forge a 4-point lead. Biggest margin, biggest lead for either squad here in the first half. Happens right away. And then a steal. Bombeck goes up and snatches that one. Leaves it ahead. The right hand finish is good, and a foul called. Chance at a 3-point play for Quinn Cheney.
That's a big time answer, though, for Shelton after you mentioned a little 5-0 spurt, in the last couple seconds of the first quarter. Then you're able to get a turnover, get an and-one shot. That's a big time answer for Shelton, and that's a play that at the end of the game you might not notice, but is going to pay dividends for this Shelton team, the fact that they were able to kind of come back from that.
And Birch picks up the foul. He goes to the bench. Coach Martinez says, no. We can't be doing that now. The freshman has much to learn yet. So the 3-point play makes it a 1-point game now as Laban takes it on the right wing, kicks it out. The shot up top from Hubble. Well, he never took the shot. Now Laban on the baseline. That one's good. Smooth pull-up jumper for Laban. 17-14, Crusaders on top. Spotted up for 3, knock it down. That's Quinn Cheney, the senior, with his first basket. We're all square. LeBon drives, and before the shot, they're going to call a foul on the floor. They're going to call it on Ashton Simmons. That is Ashton's first, and the third on the team of Shelton. Ben Myers checks in for the Bulldogs.
I'll say I'm very impressed with Thomas LeBon's wingspan. Standing at only 6'1", that's not incredibly tall, but he's got some long arms, and been impressed with how he moves with the basketball so far for GICC.
Bodie Fox muscles the inbounds pass away from his defender and then draws the foul on the way up for the shot. Fox going to get a couple of free throws.
We saw Bodie Fox as well knock down a three-pointer to end off the end of the first, so the big guy has some range too. He's very much impressed me here early on, 7 points and a chance to add on.
They called that foul, by the way, on Ben Myers. Ben at 6 foot, giving up the full 8 inches to Fox. And Fox makes good on the free throw. 18-17, GICC with a lead. Minute gone by in the second quarter. Man-to-man defense for the Crusaders. This is Cheney near side. Myers flips it in the corner, and the shot is good for Ashton Simmons.
Now 7 points for Ashton Simmons. He's done a nice shot, and Shelton's doing a good job spreading the ball around so far. A couple different players scoring. Quinn Cheney with 8. So far, Ashton Simmons with 7.
Nadir playing with 2 fouls. He's out there. Pass and swinging around. This is Ishmael. Hop step into the lane. Before the shot goes up, he got landed on actually when in that big old hop step, and the foul's going to be on Ben Myers. That's the second on Myers and the 5th on Shelton. So we mentioned earlier that GICC had racked up like 5 fouls in the first 4 minutes of the game. That's kind of calmed down, and now Shelton is kind of caught up, if you will, 6-5 in the team foul department. Top of the key, long shot for Stegman, no good, and the defensive rebound for Simmons. Here come the Bulldogs. And then Bombeck slips and falls, but able to keep his wits about him, get a pass off, gets it back. And a timeout going to be taken for Shelton. It's a 30-second timeout. 20-18 our score. We'll get you caught up if you are just joining us on the games earlier today. Kearney Catholic got a blocked shot at the buzzer to defeat Sandy Creek 35-34. I know the points were low in that one, John, but it was a really well-contested game. Actually kind of fun for no more points than what we saw. And then Donovan Trumbull, well, they turned the script pretty quick, got out to a big lead on Minden early. Minden made it interesting, but the Cardinals, they're going to be good to watch and fun to watch the rest of this year. Kearney got out to another quick start against Elkhorn North. The Wolves are a young team learning how to play with each other, but man, when they figure that out, they're gonna start putting some wins together. You see the GICC and Shelton game we're on now. Sydney and Hastings coming up at 4:40 this afternoon. Yes, Sydney did in fact dig out from the snowstorm. They are here in person. Osceola St. Cecilia tonight, and the fun one for the nightcap, Amherst and Adams Central. It'd be fun to watch the Amherst Broncos. You want to talk about some pace to the game. Oh, doggy, are the Broncos going to want to get out and run in that one if they can. It'll be fun to watch tonight around 8 o'clock. Catch all those games here on Strive TV, and a reminder that your payment here today also gets you access to the on-demand videos after the event is all over. GICC forcing a turnover coming out of the timeout. It's the second timeout taken by Shelton. Crusaders have not taken a timeout just yet. Tried to lob it all the way down low. Pass, though, too far as they tried to get it to Fox down there. But even at 6'8", Bodie's kind of looking like, hey, man, I can't go get that. Bombeck muscling his way to the rim. Hard off the front, but an offensive rebound. Luke Gelming came in from the backside because everybody was paying attention to Bombeck. Nobody boxed out on the backside. Gelming draws the foul, and he'll get a couple of free throws for the effort.
You mentioned they tried to lob it in on the other end to Bodie Fox because they have a definite height advantage, 6'8", compared to the tallest guy on Shelton is 6'2". And so they're really trying to take advantage of that mismatch so far in the paint. 8 points for Bodie Fox here early in this one.
Gelming makes the first of 2. And another offensive rebound for Ben Myers. Second time he's done that on free throws. Simmons can't hit the step-in three. Fox clears the rebound. Here comes GICC down by 3. Pull-up shot for Graham Stava won't fall, and Bombeck with the rebound. Simmons on low backdoor cut, can't get the shot though. And the rebound for Laban. Leaves it for Nadir. Ishmael all the way to the rim, lays it in. Good finish, good hang there for Ishmael Nadir. Second basket of the game for the leading scorer on the season for the Crusaders.
You mentioned it's impressive that they've been able to score a good amount of points, as Nadir's been held in check for the most part. Only 4 points for him so far, obviously dealing with a couple of fouls as well.
And then Nadir gives, and Nadir gives it back.
Yeah, you mentioned it, just a turnover. Both teams kind of struggling in the turnover department. I mentioned the ball's been on the floor a lot. Kind of some sloppy plays so far between both of these two teams. And right now, going back and forth. Only a 1-point game.
Myers goes up against Fox, got him off the ground and got the finish. Good job by Ben Myers, who, despite giving up the 8 inches in height difference, like we said, has done a really nice job in the post for Shelton so far in this game. Bulldogs by 3. But an offensive rebound and putback will make it a 1-point game for Bodie Fox.
First player on either team to reach double figures. He's now got 10 points. We talked about it. He was going to be the difference maker, and so far he has been, keeping the Crusaders toe-to-toe with Shelton.
That's a travel there on the far side for Gilming. Coach Rutzel's like, hey, you know what? Let's just shoot that thing. We're open, we're in rhythm, catch, step in, shoot. 1 point, Shelton lead. 3:05 to go here in the opening half. Laban on the near side to the high post for Nadir, down the lane, and finishes with a left hand. You can see how he gets the 18 a game, man. So quick and so smooth, and able to hang and finish at the rim.
I'm really impressed with his jump stop, too, the way he's able to kind of jump into the lane and get right past defenders. He has a lot of width to his legs. He's able to move pretty quickly.
Up and under pass, and Bombeck gets one to sneak by Bodie Fox there. Was set up by Melring going baseline on the dribble drive. Shelton back in front by 1. Fun game, both teams starting to execute now here in the half-court offenses. Nadir has it poked free. Simmons catches it up ahead. Simmons lays it in. And a 3-point Bulldog lead now.
I think Simmons really wanted to dunk it. Unfortunately, maybe was just a little bit short on it. Luckily for him, he was still able to get it to go. But I know he wanted to get a highlight reel play right there.
Riley Bombeck just picked up his second foul. He was about 35 feet away from the ball, trying to muscle with Bodie Fox for position. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Bombeck's got 2 fouls. Simmons, Cheney, and also each have 1 and another 2 for Ben Myers. So both teams are in the bonus for the rest of this half. We'll see how that plays out, as there's only been 1 foul on GICC, or 2 fouls, I should say, called on GICC in the last, we've played 6 minutes here, or probably another 3, probably 9 game minutes. There's only been 2 fouls called against the Crusaders after they had 6 in the first 3.5 minutes.
And that's adjustments right there. You know, you're struggling a little bit with fouls. You're able to kind of clean it up a little bit, and now trying to limit those and not let Shelton get to the free throw line a whole lot.
Nice pass in the lane. The shot, though, will not go for Rowe. Bombeck picks it up. That won't go. Bodie Fox skies up there for the defensive rebound. Chance to tie it with 3 here for the Crusaders. 1.5 to go in the first half. Laban on the far wing to the high post. Turn down the lane. That one partially blocked, but an offensive rebound for Stegman. His putback no good, and Ben Myers tracks down another rebound for the Bulldogs. And now a scramble into the backcourt, not over and back. That was touched by the defense, so all is well for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, LeBon did a nice job defensively poking that one away, but then he unfortunately got tripped up. If he could have picked that one up in stride, as he almost did again there, he could have made a pretty good transition play for GICC.
Trying to make it difficult on Simmons, but then LeBon picks up the reach-in foul. That's going to be the 8th team foul against the Crusaders, and a 1-and-1 opportunity on the way for Ashton Simmons. Mentioned the 6'2 junior, averaging 22 points a game on the season. He's got 9 so far in the ball game.
He's been impressive. Him and Quinn Cheney, he has 8. Spread the ball around a decent amount for Shelton so far.
Stegman pulls down the defensive rebound, so still the 3-point game. Back and forth, that shot for LeBon, no good, but the tip out from Bombeck gets it all the way to Simmons, forces up the shot and draws the foul on Stava.
That's a smart player making a smart play in Ashton Simmons, and the fact that GICC kind of had numbers, so instead of trying to go up and get a shot blocked, he draws some contact, gets to the free throw line. He's been pretty good from the free throw line this season as well, as he knocks down the first. Very glad I didn't change that because I did earlier today.
Man, that was close, John.
Yep.
That was close.
I've been playing it pretty close so far today, so I'm glad Simmons, that did not affect him in any way there.
Now oh man, got the back end with the shooter's bounce. 5-point Bulldog lead, 20 seconds to go here in the opening half. Ishmael Nadir brings it across the timeline. One final look at the clock for the Crusaders. The Bulldogs extend the defense now. Simmons on the defense. Into the corner, Nadir on the wing now. 2-1, will he get the shot? He will, and they weren't going to count it anyway, waving it off on the far side before the shot even went up. Shelton takes a 5-point lead into the halftime break, 29-24. We will step aside and we will come back for some halftime stats. Take a look at our crew. Let you know what else happened today during the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic on Strive.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus, 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
By having good sportsmanship, we recognize the hard work and commitment of all teams participating. How we act when we compete also shows who we are as people.
Sportsmanship is going the extra mile to earn the respect of everyone in attendance.
Sportsmanship shouldn't just be on the court, it should also be in the stands and everywhere you go.
Good sportsmanship makes competing in any event more fun, but it comes from more than just the athlete. It comes from parents and coaches too.
Become a new Strive school. Join a community of educators and students. Get access to support, resources, and education. Your fans watch for free, and there's even a new revenue opportunity for your school. Contact sales at strive.tv to sign up your school to become a Strive school.
Midland's mission is to inspire people to learn and lead in the world with purpose.
Truck Center Companies, keeping America's truck industry on the road.
This Strive Sports production is brought to you by Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning, Rivals Sports Bar and Grill, and by Pinnacle Bank. We couldn't do it without your support.
Back here in Hastings for the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic on Strive. Shelton leading Grand Island Central Catholic 29-24. Fun day for us at Strive. It's an alumni group almost now. Our production team today. I'm Eric Allgood, Strive Sports production director. John Willis. John's now a sophomore at UNK, and I say sophomore because man, you have done it feels like 9 years of broadcasting in the last 4. But Millard West graduate. Tell us about this past summer. You had a cool opportunity, real quick. Get a toot your own horn for about 30 seconds.
Yeah. I was with North Platte, a team in the Independence League, as their play-by-play broadcaster, and that's opened up a lot of opportunities. I got to travel with their team, do like 50 games in 60 days or something, and be doing something similar this summer. Get to be on ESPN Plus with the Duluth Huskies. So
nice.
Looking forward to that. But it's been like you said, it has felt like I've been in this business a lot longer than I actually have. So
well, and that was started in high school. You got on the Strive program there at Millard West. Mark Hilburn, your guys' sponsor, and we've seen a number of guys come through that program and gals that have gone into this media world and have done some cool things. So shout out to Mr. Hilburn and Mr. Smith that have given you guys some of those opportunities. Our producer today, none other than Hoosier. Nathan Ladahoff is a Sutton graduate and is now full-time with us at Strive. And then we've got Tripp and Mason from Sandy Creek. They don't get last names because they're still in high school, right? But Tripp and Mason have been manning our cameras here today and doing a great job at that. So we appreciate their efforts. So it takes a small army to make a quality production. We hope that today's is, and we thank you for your support of this event and of this broadcast here on Strive. Starting the second half, GICC with the ball trailing by 5, 29-24. Going to be an interesting thing to watch. A little bit of the foul trouble, which kind of slowed down for GICC. They kept themselves out of too much of it in that first half. But these first few minutes of the third quarter are going to be very important for both teams, as both coaches and every coach always stresses at halftime. Those first couple minutes of the third quarter, very important to how the flow of the rest of the game can go, what you can get done. You pick up a couple fouls on the wrong guys, and can really turn the tables of the turntables. Have turned for either squad if you get into that foul trouble early.
And I'm sure that's something Tino Martinez talked about with his team at the break. You don't want to start out this third quarter like you did the first.
Ben Myers, the recipient of a nice pass coming down the lane on the drive from Quinn Chaney. And Ben Myers is not necessarily, averages 8 a game, so technically the third leading scorer, but not necessarily the first guy you would think of as you watch Shelton play. But I have noticed that's the glue guy, and if Shelton's going to make some run and make some noise throughout the course of this season, it's a glue guy like Ben Myers that's going to be making some plays, not necessarily scoring points, although he has done that a little bit today. But we've seen some offensive rebounds on some free throw opportunities. We've seen him do that right there, battle with Bodie Fox in the post, and it's been fun to watch him so far. And like we said, if Shelton's going to get something done throughout the rest of this season, a guy like Ben Myers is going to be a big reason because of it.
You mentioned he does the things that aren't going to show up on the stat sheet as much. Rebounds, he does a really nice job, even though he doesn't have the height advantages. There's a missed layup in the paint, but he does a really nice job just holding it together. He's going to move the ball well, and when he has to, he can go get buckets.
Simmons drives, missed the first, and we're going to wave off the shot as he got his own rebound. On Laban, though, it is foul number 2. So you've got Laban, Nadir, and Stegman all with 2 fouls out there right now for GICC. And Coach Martinez is going to be coming to the bench with Melring here momentarily. Stegman pulls down that defensive rebound. Ishmael Nadir brings it up for the Crusaders. Down the lane, and Bodie Fox up to 12 points now. And we said it early in the game, and it's bearing fruit here, John, that you've got to have Bodie Fox have a big game if GICC wants to come up with this victory, and he's had a nice one so far. But then Ben Myers just goes right over the top of him and gets the basket. So impressive with the effort from Ben Myers in this ballgame.
I don't know how you do that sometimes. 6 foot working on 6'8", and it looked pretty easy for Ben Myers. Again, he just holds this team together so well.
Oh, big hop step and an offensive foul called against Nadir, and that is going to be 3 personal fouls against Ishmael Nadir. We'll see if Coach Martinez wants to bring him out or if they're going to let that roll for a little bit. Thomas Birch does come out, and Mellring comes in for the Crusader lineup. So Nadir stays out there with the 3 fouls now.
You mentioned if this game's going to go down to the stretch like it looks, he's going to have to be a guy that's in there.
Nice drive and pull up there for Riley Bombeck, 6'1" junior. Bombeck with 6 points in the ball game. And along the sideline, a timeout going to be taken by GICC coach Tino Martinez. A 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. John, you have seen all of the games so far today, and I know we've got you on the hook for the rest of them today, so thank you for that. What have you liked to see so far? What's kind of some highlights from all the games that you've seen so far here today?
Well, I think, you phrased it very well in the fact that you get to see teams that don't normally play and see how they would match up. And, I think the beauty of the Heartland Hoops Classic, first the holiday edition, you get to get a feel of where teams are at early in the season. Then the February edition, you kind of get to get a feel of how they're going headed into postseason play. But there's been some really impressive freshmen that have played today. Jackson Poppy stands out from one of the earlier games with Donovan Trumbull. He finished with 22 points. There's been some freshmen who have been making a name for themselves here at Lynn Farrell Arena today, and that's, I think, what stood out probably most.
Yep. Central Catholic trailing 33-26 with 5:14 to go here in the third quarter with the basketball. Nadir comes off the screen, can't hit the jump shot, though, and the defensive rebound for Quinn Cheney. Cheney leaves it up ahead on the run. The layup will not fall for Gilming, but the putback is good by Simmons. Ashton Simmons, 13 points in the game now. And the lead swells to 9 for the Shelton Bulldogs. 3-1 on their season so far. Their only loss to Elm Creek on the opening night for them. But some big wins since. Nadir on the dribble drive. Got all the way to the rim. Missed it once, missed it twice. Simmons then tracks down the rebound.
Eric, you mentioned the loss to Elm Creek earlier in the season, and that's not a bad loss. Elm Creek has had a fantastic start to their season. They're now 6-0 for Tanner Cavaney's bunch. That's going to be a team to watch out for in West Central Nebraska this year.
Bombeck, spin, fade away. A little Dirk Nowitzki fade there. Can't get the shot, though. Ball on the floor. And they're going to give it to Shelton.
We talked about it. Bombeck averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds headed into the contest, but he's been held somewhat quiet up to this point with only 6 points. Really, it's just been Simmons who's been standing out offensively with 13.
Fox swats one away and is able to corral the rebound and draw the foul on the Bulldogs. On Gilming. That's Gilming's first. It's also the first foul on Shelton 4 minutes and 7 seconds into the third quarter. So well done by the Bulldogs in that department so far in this ball game.
And in such a close game, that's so important, especially with GICC and a little bit of foul trouble. It's calmed down a little bit here as we've gone on in the third, but that's going to be big.
Nadir spots up a 3. Leaves it short, though, but an offensive rebound tracked down by Jack Alberts. Nadir, baseline, cut off, and has the ball knocked off his leg.
I think they ended up saying it was off of Simmons.
Oh, they are going to say off Simmons, okay. Sometimes with Jim Langen, we love him, but sometimes it's hard unless you're down there so you can actually hear him. The headset on, it's hard to tell exactly what the call is until they go through it in. And you're like, oh, I guess it's GICC ball. A Nebraska treasure, Jim Langen, leading our officiating crew in this game. Step back for Simmons, splashes it home right on top of Thomas Levon. The lead up to 12, and that was a how you doing kind of shot from Simmons.
Kind of a heat check, too. That's not 16 points for Simmons. He can get going like that for Shelton, and that's when they can be really dangerous, is when he's knocking down shots like that. That's when Shelton can really go on some big runs, obviously, with now a 12-point lead.
Nadir stops on the far side, leaves it back for LeBon. Nadir goes baseline, hop steps into the lane. His layup, though, will not fall. Boy, got all the way right there to the rim, but just couldn't get the touch at the finish. Bombeck brings it up for Myers. Gets it back to Bombeck. Up and under. Got it.
It feels like this Shelton team is getting into their rhythm right now. Just acting like the Shelton team that we've seen all throughout the year so far.
Full timeout taken by GICC. We will step aside as well. It is the Bulldogs leading by 14 when we come back to Hastings after this.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus, 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
This Strive Sports production is brought to you by Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning, Rivals Sports Bar and Grill, and by Pinnacle Bank. We couldn't do it without your support.
We are back here in Hastings at Lynn Farrell Arena, where Shelton gets a little bit of a rhythm going offensively, up 40-26 now here with 2.5 to go in the third quarter of play. Sydney and Hastings coming up next from the Heartland Hoops Classic. You can watch it here on strive.tv. In fact, your pay-per-view payment gets you access to all the games live today and on demand as well. Those on-demand games will be available after the completion of the entire event. Simmons working on Nadir, hands it back now to Bombeck. Onto the block, the shot good. Quinn Cheney muscles one up and in.
Second player for the Bulldogs to get to double digits. Now with him and Ashton Simmons, they're spreading the ball around as there's another turnover.
And this is all Shelton right now. Simmons spots up another long three that will not fall, but the rebound snatched out of there by Alberts. Nadir up the far sideline. Hop step, kind of reverses that layup. Won't fall, though.
And it appears apparent that when Nadir struggles, his team struggles. I mean, 6 points. He's missed some shots that you feel like he normally knocks down. And obviously now with Shelton going on this big run, that's really hurting GICC right now.
Cheney gets by Nadir. Stops at the high post then. Gets it out on the far side for Rowe. Back to Bombeck. Bombeck spins away from the defense flying at him and gets the basket to go. Riley Bombeck, 10 points in the game.
Well, right after I said he wasn't putting up his normal offensive numbers, he's been getting a couple straight shots to go. Riley Bombeck getting going to help add to this lead, and Shelton's on an incredible run right now here in the third.
Yeah, up by 18 now. The final seconds here of the third quarter. Nadir all the way to the hoop. Bombeck gets away on the defensive side. This one would count, and just off the front for Quinn Cheney. But through three, it is all Shelton. 44-26, the Bulldogs lead GICC. Come back for the final 8 minutes after this on Strive's coverage of the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus, 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
By having good sportsmanship, we recognize the hard work and commitment of all teams participating. How we act when we compete also shows who we are as people.
Sportsmanship is going the extra mile to earn the respect of everyone in attendance.
Sportsmanship shouldn't just be on the court, it should also be in the stands and everywhere you go.
Good sportsmanship makes competing in any event more fun, but it comes from more than just the athlete. It comes from parents and coaches too.
44-26 as we start the final 8 minutes of this one. Shelton leading Grand Island Central Catholic. Got Sydney and Hastings coming up next. Osceola, Hastings, St. Cecilia, the penultimate game. And then the nightcap, Amherst and Adams Central. Should be a lot of fun to watch those two teams play. And we got a turnover on the inbounds there as Harper Thober, a sophomore, in for the first time in this one.
It's fun to think, too, with that nightcap that one of those teams is going to have their first loss of the season. Both teams off to a really nice start in their 2022-2023 campaign. That'll be a fun one.
You know, a couple years ago, everyone waited for BRLD and Auburn. Both were riding big winning streaks, right? Auburn was in C1. I think they had won 2 straight C1 championships at that time. BRLD had won back-to-back C2 games, C2 title games. And they were scheduled. They met in the Heartland Hoops Classic. BRLD, I think, got beat the week of the event, actually. So they weren't both undefeated when that happened. But we'll get to see an undefeated matchup later tonight.
That'll be a fun one.
Fox clears a rebound. Nadir brings it ahead. Spins in, kicks it out. Fox steps back. Kicks it for Laban. Rebound tipped out of Bombeck's hands, and Fox grabs it.
It's the first time it feels like Fox has gotten on the board in a while. Kind of struggled so far in the second half as that one heads out of bounds. But he's got 14 points now. Again, we mentioned he'd have to be the difference maker, kind of slowed down in that third quarter, and that might be a big reason why big run for Shelton.
Stegman puts the body on the line to try to deflect one. And one that falls in there on the finish for Luke Gilming.
His first field goal of the contest for Gilming, and a pretty big one. Gets the fans here for Shelton fired up. Pretty good showing from the Shelton faithful today, and the bench all off their feet for him.
Spot up 3 on the far side, does not fall for Alberts. Bombeck bringing it up. Simmons gets in the lane, hangs from 8 feet, no good. Stegman able to wrangle that thing away. Nadir on the dribble drive. Will shoot a couple free throws.
And Nadir's done a good job of attacking all afternoon for GICC. But again, there's been some shots that you feel like he would normally make down that he just isn't. And when he's struggling, his team struggles. But a nice job, getting contact, going to the free throw line to shoot some free throws.
Ben Myers checks in. Nadir makes the second. So the lead is 17 for Shelton with 6:16 to go in the fourth quarter. Simmons quickly across the timeline. Leaves it up for Myers. Now amongst the trees, Fox does block that one away. Snatches the rebound. Here comes Ishmael Nadir. Doesn't have numbers, and then Bombeck picks his pocket. Gets it for Simmons. Simmons on the left side, lays it in.
He did it again, Eric. He wanted to go up and slam it down, but just wasn't quite able to, and a little frustration for him there.
Bodie Fox gets an in-rhythm transition 3, and then, big collision there, top of the key, as Ishmael Nadir stepped in front of Quinn Cheney, and Cheney took one on the chin there. That is the 4th on Nadir. It is the 5th team foul on Central Catholic here in the second half. The lead for Shelton is 16. 5:40 to go in the 4th. Bombeck drives, gets it back, spots the 3. That's off the back, no good, but an offensive rebound. Pulled down by Gilming. Just beat his man to the punch there. Did Thomas Gilming on the rebound. Alberts with the foul. 6th team foul against the Crusaders. 2 shots for Luke Gilming.
And after, we saw it again, start of the 3rd, GICC picked up a couple quick fouls. It's kind of slowed down until these last couple of minutes where they've picked up a couple straight, but they've done a nice job adjusting with that throughout the game.
Nadir goes baseline, stops, throws it up for Stegman, and knocks it down. 3-pointer for Jacob Stegman, the 6'3" senior. 14-point game with 5 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Nobody home on the press break that time, and it is going to be a turnover for the Bulldogs.
This is Jacob Stegman's first points of the contest. He's only the 5th Crusader to get on the board. Leading scorer with Bodie Fox, 17, but the next highest scorer with Nadir only has 7.
Fox catches it far corner, hands it back out for Laban, and his 3 is good. Well, the pace picking up a little bit for GICC. Still a lot of time, an 11-point game, and a timeout for Shelton. It is a full timeout. We will take it as well. 49-38, 4:37 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Truck Center Companies, keeping America's truck industry on the road.
It's a party rocking here at the Lynn Farrell Arena, Hastings College, for the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic. Thanks for joining us on Strive TV/HHC. We will be back here again in February for the main event. Friday night, February the 10th, we will be at GICC, actually. And then all day on Saturday the 11th from the Heartland Event Center. Ben Myers on the run out there, can't get the layup, but an offensive rebound. And a second attempt, that's going to stay with Shelton again.
And Shelton down the stretch as GICC has gone on a little bit of a run here. They've just missed some shots that they were hitting earlier in the contest, and it's allowing GICC to find their way back into the game. If they can get a couple of those to fall, you feel pretty good about where they're at with just about halfway through the 4th quarter.
Simmons with 18 points in the game, picks up his dribble, hands it off for Quinn Cheney. By the way, Quinn, really the only senior in the main rotation for the Bulldogs. Myers is a sophomore. Bombeck and Simmons, both juniors, along with Gilming. And Quinn Cheney, the 6-foot senior. Will Rowe also has gotten some minutes off the bench, but that's been pretty much it as far as the seniors go for the Bulldogs.
I think that makes it very exciting about what this team can not only do this year, but in the future as well, with a young team and a team that's getting a lot of experience, you know, early on in their playing days.
And the splash three from Thomas Laban. 51-41. The full court press is on again for the Crusader defense. Bombeck throws it up ahead. Cheney got it to go in.
That was a very aggressive press by GICC, and if, you know, in that instance, they're able to get out of it as there's a travel by Nadir, but if they're able to get out of it, that leaves the guy wide open like we saw there, and that can really hurt you, and that kind of halted their momentum for the moment.
And Bombeck able to have his wits about him and just see the floor well enough to know, hey, somebody's down there. Where am I going with this thing? Simmons gets all the way underneath, and he lays that one in on the press break as well. So that's the thing about Shelton, and we kind of saw this with Kearney and Elkhorn North in our previous game. If you're going against a press, you're going against that what they want to pressure defense, keep your head above water, see what's open, and you can use that as an offensive attack instead of you know, drowning in the chaos.
Similar to with GICC trying to come back here late, they're able to force a turnover. Let's see what they can do here.
Laban hands it out for Stegman. Jacob kicks it in the corner. It's Alberts for three, no. And not able to reestablish was Luke Gilming that time. His feet had come back down inbounds, but somebody else needed to touch it before he did, is the reason for that. And there's Bodie Fox with another basket, 19 points for Bodie, and a 30-second timeout here taken by GICC. So the lead is 12. John, I've seen crazier things with 3 minutes left. This thing, the pace has ramped up exponentially in the last 3 minutes as GICC has put on this full court press. Not that we're flying everywhere, but just compared to where we were, ooh, man, we're through the roof.
You mentioned it felt like in the first half, even in the third quarter, that both offenses were kind of wanting to take their time, you know, milk some clock, take long offensive pieces. But now with GICC in the spot that they're at where they need to force turnovers and get quick points, obviously they're going to full court press, and it's been effective at times, but then there's been times where the Bulldogs have had good looks wide open under the bucket. Ashton Simmons was able to get a layup pretty well under the bucket. He's now got 20 points on the contest as well. But it's going to move quickly these next couple minutes with how GICC is going to want to force some turnovers and try to find a way to get back into the game.
Two timeouts for both teams remaining in this one. Cheney in the backcourt on the press break. Now they get it across. Bombeck fakes the pass, gets the layup. And that's what you were talking about, John, being aggressive on the press break. You got it to the middle there, and that was well executed on the press break that time. And we're going to get a reach-in foul on Bombeck here. Just the third team foul on Shelton in this half. They've done a really nice job playing hands-off defense, yet still making sure that they're boxing out, pressuring the ball, doing the things they need to do.
And that's the key. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for as a coach with what Shelton is wanting to do with only 3 fouls. You know, and they're playing pretty well defensively throughout the contest.
But of those fouls, that's now 4 in the game against Bombeck. So that is something to kind of keep an eye on as Laban gets the 3 to go. And the lead is now 11, 57-46. A little give and go. Ben Myers can't get the layup, but he'll shoot a couple free throws.
You could tell after that play, too, he really wanted that one to fall for Shelton, because obviously GICC's got a couple buckets here late to make things a little bit interesting in the fourth quarter, but it only takes, you know, 1 or 2 big shots for Shelton to get back to feeling pretty good about where they're at.
First of 2 good for Myers. He will shoot the second as the lead is 12, 58-46. 2:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Nadir near side, spots up the 3, left it right off the front. Myers grabs the rebound. Now GICC's wiping at it, and they get the steal. Now deflected away. Nadir picks it up. Laban in the corner lost it as he was going to shoot. Now Nadir has it and puts it in. Woo-wee! Hot potato.
How that resulted in points, I couldn't tell you.
Hey, it's kind of like golf. It doesn't matter how it got there, just that it got there. Doesn't matter how you shoot it, just that it goes through the rim.
I will say it was impressive by Laban, kind of, you know, able to keep his composure out there in the corner after losing the ball a bit. He was able to find Nadir, and Nadir obviously doing what he's capable of doing and getting a nice jumper to fall.
13 points in the ballgame for Thomas Laban, but he has just fouled out of the contest. Jack Alberts will come in, Jack is currently in. We're going to see Thomas Birch, another one of the freshmen, check in for the Crusaders.
Riley Bombeck is at the free throw line, shooting 1 and 1.
And before the free throw, a 30-second timeout taken by Coach Will Rutzel. A reminder, we've got Sydney and Hastings coming up next. For our games, the 6:30 game, Osceola and Hastings St. Cecilia. Get to see one of the best small school athletes we've seen in quite a while, Isaiah Zelazny for Osceola. I mean, 1,000-point basketball scorer for his career. About 100 touchdowns in football, and he missed like 4 or 5 games this year with an injury. And he has won a gold medal, I think, in every state track meet event he has been in. I don't think he's lost one. I think he's 12 for 12 so far. So I take that back. He would have been a freshman in 20, so he missed out on that. But would you have picked him in the 100? Probably, you know. But should be a lot of fun to see him. And then the battle of the unbeatens for the 8 o'clock game between Amherst and Adams Central. Excited for those coming up. So the lead is still 10 right now as Simmons picks up a foul as Nadir was driving hard towards the right side of the lane.
Calls on number 23 for Shelton, Ashton Simmons, his second personal. Team foul number 4 on the ball.
And you mentioned missing Thomas Laban now for the rest of the game for GICC is going to be big, because obviously trying to make a comeback. It has 13 points on the contest so far for GICC, and obviously not going to be able to get any more.
Inbounds pass tipped out of bounds. They were trying to force it in there to Bodie Fox. I don't know. I think I'd just lob it up to the big fella, right? I mean,
you'd think so with the wingspan. He'd be able to go up and get it.
Ben Myers is like, nah, that ain't going to work. I ain't letting that happen. Although that time Fox able to scoop up a loose ball after Nadir lost it, and now Nadir has fouled out of the game too. Ishmael Nadir just made a tiny little reach right there, enough to draw some contact, and that is Ishmael's 5th personal foul. So now your top 2 ball handlers are fouled out of the game for GICC. That doesn't bode well when you're trying to make this 8-point comeback in the last minute and a half.
You mentioned it, you know, you lose 22 points in the contest right there. 2 of your players that have been running the point for a majority of the season and kind of running the offense for GICC. So missing those 2 players, when this is still a game that you're in. This game is not over.
Absolutely.
And so losing those guys is going to be big.
Especially if Shelton keeps missing free throws. Simmons missed the front end of 2. He's got the second coming. And good on that. So it's a 9-point game, minute 25 to go. GICC trailing with the basketball. Birch, far wing, comes off a screen. Stegman up top. That 3 was partially blocked. Tipped back out to Birch, though. all the way down low. That is a basket for Bodie Fox, who's got 21 and a timeout taken by GICC. It is a full timeout. We will take it as well. 59-52, Shelton on top. Kind of interesting. Come back to Hastings.
Metal sleigh for a new Jeep during the big finish at Tom Dinsdale CDJR in Hastings. Fill your stockings with over $9,600 in discounts and rebates when you choose a 2022 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Or select a 2022 Wagoneer Series 2 and get over $9,400 in discounts and rebates. Plus, 90 days no payments. To give your year a big finish, dash on over to Tom Dinsdale CDJR.
Go get it, Zach!
So a 7-point game, 59-52, minute 4 to go in the fourth quarter. Each team with one timeout remaining. Should there be a jump ball, it does favor GICC. Bombeck and Simmons already hustling before the whistle came in, and now we're going to get a quick foul. Connor Haney. So Haney is out there along with Kyle Kelly. And Graham Stava. It's Birch and Stegman and Brooks Hubble all come back in for GICC. The lead is 8, so still an important free throw here. The minute 4 to go. Second is good. 13 points for Riley Bombeck in the ball game. Stegman with his dribble. Skips it for Birch on the far side. Stegman tries to throw it down for Fox along the baseline. His shot turned over Myers, no good, and Cheney pulls down the rebound. Long outlet pass to Simmons. Simmons going to attack. He'll be fouled, and he'll shoot a couple free throws with 35 seconds left. I kind of like that, John. You could, and probably most coaches would say, oh, absolutely not. You never should have thrown that pass. It's not really what Shelton does, though. If they have a chance, they're going to try to take that pass and kind of fit right into their motif there. These free throws at the end of the game, Coach Rutzel's going to be like, all right, fellas, here's the thing. We're going to shoot some free throws in practice on Monday. And
might be the main part of practice.
And then at the end of practice, we're going to shoot some more free throws because it hasn't been a great percentage here in this fourth quarter. It's been enough, but it hasn't been great. Stegman off the front of the rim. The clock continues to wind with 25 seconds, and a jump ball is going to be the call there. Great job on the defense by Shelton. Fox stuffed on the way up. The jump ball possession arrow does stay with the Crusaders.
You mentioned the free throws. You feel like if you knock down a better percentage than they have here in the fourth, this game could have been not as over, but if you feel a lot better about it than you do, because still 10-point game.
And 18 seconds left. GICC not going to reach out there with the fouls, and it looks like this one's going to be all said and done. Shelton Bulldogs going to improve to 4-1 on their season with a 62-52 victory over the Grand Island Central Catholic Crusaders. GICC now 1-5 on their season. Simmons 22, but how about the balance? 14, 12, 8, and 4 for the remaining guys on the floor for Shelton in this one. So great balance and showed off the depth, I think. I think that was important, something we talked about early on. It was going to be a matter of if GICC didn't have a ton of scoring depth, who was going to get the scoring tonight? And in this game, we saw that the little bit more depth from Shelton proved to be the difference.
Yeah, it really did, because you mentioned 3 players with double digits. Ben Myers has a productive afternoon with 8 points as well. They were really able to spread the ball around. I do think as well, though, GICC, if there's a positive takeaway from this game, you know, if Nadir and Laban don't get into foul trouble, along with Bodie Fox, if Bodie Fox can start having games like he did today more consistently, GICC might be able to start getting some wins.
Yeah, that's a different piece if Bodie Fox is full speed and can do what he did here today. So congratulations again to GICC winners, or GICC, how about Shelton winners over GICC 62-52. We've got Sydney and Hastings coming up 20 minutes from now. You can watch it right here on Strive TV's coverage of the Heartland Hoops Holiday Classic.
Trade in that old sleigh for a new